Okay, so this is the final preparation. We're going to go through modules 1 and 2 today. We're going to start, I'm going to do one problem from each section, so we'll start with problem 1. Problem 1 asks us to sketch a graph of each line, and in problem 1, our line is x minus y equals a negative 4. So this is a line, and so we have to be able to convert this into a way that we can draw a line. One of the ways that we understand lines is through the slope-intercept form. Also more known as y equals mx plus b. Right here we have x minus y. It is not in this form, so we have to get it here. What is a step we do first to make this happen? Chris?
Subtract the x from the left side.
So when we subtract x from the left side, this will cause it to be 0. But if we do anything to the left side, we also must do it to the right side. So I must subtract an x here. X minus x is 0, so I don't even write anything. I kind of don't even bother. I'll zoom in a little bit, make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Leaving me on the left side with just a negative y. And then on the right side, these are not like terms, so I cannot combine them. So I have negative x minus 4. And notice how I led with my x. I always lead with my variable. Okay. Am I done?
No.
No, I need to do one more step.
Divide by negative 1 on both sides.
We can divide by negative 1, we can multiply by negative 1. It doesn't matter. But I will divide by negative 1. Negative 1 divided by negative 1 is a positive 1, leaving me with y. And then here, this is a binomial. And I'm dividing a binomial by a number. Therefore, I have to do the old heart method or the pretzel method, depending on how you view it. I have to do this by negative 1. So negative x divided by negative 1 is going to be a positive 1x, or just x. And then I have to do this part right here. Negative 4 divided by negative 1, which becomes a positive 4. Okay? There's my equation. It is now in y equals mx plus b form. So for this, I know that my m is my coefficient on the x. Now I don't see a number next to the x, so that tells me my coefficient is what? 1. And then my b, my y-intercept, is whatever constant I'm adding to that. So what's the constant here? 4. Easy enough. So now all I have to do is graph this. So I will sketch one out for you guys real fast. This is my x, this is my y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see that my b is 4. So I count up my y-intercept to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that is a point. And I see that my slope is 1. Okay? Since my slope is 1, and I know that my slope is rise over run, I can always imagine that there's an invisible 1 I'm dividing it by. So I go up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Etc., etc. I didn't even need to make that third point because 2 points make a line. Connect the dots. La 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 la. Put arrowheads on them to show that it goes on for infinity. And that is my answer. Is there a question? Or am I going too fast? I'll slow down for a second. That's fine. Sure thing, Dad. Can I borrow some money? Can I borrow the car? Okie dokie. Does this make, you guys remember this, right? This is pretty basic. But But we haven't necessarily done this in a while, so I definitely wanted to show it to you guys again to make sure that we're as prepared as possible. Any questions on this? Feeling good? Feeling mellow? Alrighty. So now what I want to do is I want to shift gears and we're going to go to Module 2. This is the big dog. This is systems of inequalities. Okay. So I have 2x plus 3y equals negative 3. Whoops, I'm too far up. There we go. And then I have x minus 3y equals 12. And I'm asking you to solve it 3 ways. By graphing, by elimination, and by substitution. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my paper and split it up into 3 parts. What way do you guys want to see first? Graphing? Okay, we'll do it the easy way. Okay. So for graphing, I'm pretty much doing exactly what we did in the last section, except I'm doing it for each equation. Okay, so I have 2x plus 3y equals negative 3. This is my first equation. I'll call this the orange one. Okay. And so I just need to get this into y equals mx plus b, just like we did last time. So I'm going to go by this a little bit faster, because we just saw it. But if you have, I'll pause when I'm done to take any questions. So I'm going to get my y term by itself by subtracting 2x, leaving me with 3y equals a negative 2x minus 3. I'm going to isolate my y by dividing by 3, leaving me with y equals a negative 2/3 x minus 1. Okay. So this is my first equation written in a y equals mx plus b form, in slope-intercept form. Any questions on how I got here? Are you following along? What's that? We would graph that, but I'm going to get both of my lines first and then graph it. Okay. So I'm going to call this my green line. You guys can catch the green line at the mall. I'll take you down. Portland State. I know. Green line. And the orange line, those of you in Milwaukee can now catch the orange line.
So that's it for graph we don't catch it.
No, we're not done. I've only done one equation. I got to do the other one now. I got to do the green one.
No, I meant like for the. Oh, okay.
It's in y equals mx plus b. We can now graph it. I'm not going to just yet. Green line. So I have x minus 3y equals 12. I'm going to subtract an x, giving me a negative 3y equals negative x plus 12. Divide by negative 3, giving me y equals 1/3 x minus 4. Note, negative divided by a negative becomes a positive. Positive divided by a negative becomes a negative. Okay, this is my green line. Oh, I picked a poor color. This pen appears to be running out of ink. Do I have another green? I don't think I do. Either way. Oh, thank you. You're so friendly. So helpful. All right, there we go. That's much nicer. Okay. So now I have to graph this. All right. Kind of drawn myself into a corner here, but I'll do my best. Make a little XY plane. A Cartesian plane. Named after René Descartes. Whoops, I didn't hold it. There we go. It's my x, my y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so I'm going to start with my orange line. And for my orange line, I see that my b is a -1. So that means I cross at -1. I see that my m, or my slope, is a -2/3. So that can mean I either go up to back 3, so that would be up to back 3, or it could mean I go down to forward 3, down to forward 3. Okay, either way it's the same line. 2 dots make a line, draw it in, put arrowheads on it to show it goes on forever. I'll give you guys a second to catch up with that. -1. -1. Down 2 over 3, or up 2 back 3. Okay. You guys ready for green line? Thumbs up if you're ready for green line. It's rise over, remember it's always rise over run, right? Rise over run. So that means rise is up and down, that's our y. It's our delta y over our delta x. Change in y over change in x. So when it's 2, 3, that means we're either going down 2, forward 3, or up 2, back 3. We get to place the negative wherever we'd like, because it makes the same line. Okay, I'm going to do the green line now. My b is -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope is 1/3. I'm going to go up 1 over 3. Oh, look at that. We found our crossing point. Where x is 3 and y is -3. Write it as a point and put a box around it so I know that that's the answer. You can even put a bow on it because it's a present to me. It's a gift. You give to me so that I know you're ready. I love presents. Who doesn't love to get things in a box? If I were to give you a box right now, you would be so excited. There could be nothing in it, but until you found out there was nothing in it, you'd be pretty stoked. Yeah, bro. All right. Let's go to Elimination Town. So in elimination, our goal is to add our equations together so that our variables eliminate. So the first thing we have to do is check to see if that's true. So if I add 2x to 1x, would that eliminate? No, I would get 3x. That doesn't eliminate. If I were to add 3y to -3y, would that eliminate? Absolutely. That would become 0. So I know I can eliminate without manipulating it. Now say these didn't line up like that. What would I have to do? You guys remember?
You have to multiply it.
Nellie? Nope, I wouldn't put it into y equals mx plus b form. Good thought though. Cassie? There is a line No, that's not exactly what I'm doing though. Chris?
You have to multiply both the equations by a certain number.
You would have to multiply one of the equations by a number so that it added up. Okay? So for example, if I were to take this bottom equation and multiply the entire equation by a negative 2, then my 2x and my new negative 2x would eliminate. Okay? You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Well, you'll have the opportunity to do that in the next problem. But for this one, I'm going to go ahead and eliminate because it lines up. So I have 2 plus 1x, so that becomes 3x. 3y plus a negative 3y eliminates, that's why we're doing this, so I don't even write anything. And then negative 3 plus 12 is 9. So I have 3x equals 9. I'll divide by 3, and I get x equals 3. What's that? How do we get the y now? I'm sorry, Hallie, can you say that louder? Beautiful. Now all we have to do is plug in the x. We take this x and we plug it into either of these equations. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to do the top one simply because it's on top. I could have chosen the bottom one simply because it was on bottom. You get to pick whichever one you want. And Misty can put her phone away. All these things can happen. It's a wonderful world. So let's plug the x into that top equation. So it was 2x plus 3y equals negative 3, but now instead of x, I'm going to write what x equals. I'm going to write 3. So it's going to be 2 times 3 plus 3y equals negative 3. 2 times 3 is 6. If I subtract 6, 3y equals a negative 9. And then if I divide by 3, y equals a negative 3. And thus I know the answer to my problem is the point 3, negative 3. And sure enough, I already knew that. So my work checks out. Now, if you had done this and you had gotten a different answer, what does that tell you?
You did something wrong.
You did something wrong on one of them. So you got to look for that. Okay? That's elimination. It's a beautiful, elegant thing. It's like an artful dance of two ballet dancers. Individually, stunning in and of themselves, but together, it's phenomenal. Artistic. Life-changing. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. You guys ready for substitution? Somewhat. That's a fair answer. 2x plus 3y equals negative 3. X minus 3y equals 12. Now in substitution, what we're trying to do is we're going to convert one of these equations and solve it for one variable. Okay? What looks the easiest, the first or second equation, and x or y? Second x, right? I remember my second x. All right, yeah, second x. So I'm going to take this second equation and I'm going to solve it for x. So I have x minus 3y equals 12. To get x by itself, I need to add 3y. So I get x equals 3y plus 12. Cool. I got there. So now what I need to do is, since I know that x equals all of this, is I have to take this and plug it into the other equation. Okay? This is the important step. You cannot plug it back into the equation that we derived x from. Okay? This is like inbreeding. Have you guys studied genetics? You know? And you know, like purebred dogs, you know, like they're very, very cute, but there's something kind of wrong with them. Like they have some sort of health impairment, or it's really mutations that you're trying to get them to exhibit, right? So don't inbreed your equations. Okay? Don't make the pit bull sleep with another pit bull. Okay, you want a mutt. Mutts are healthier. So math is essentially eugenics. I'm so sorry. No. So what you want to do is you want to take this, plug it into the other equation. Diversify that gene pool a little bit. Okay? So when we plug this in here, so instead of writing 2x, this x is what x equals. So it's 3y plus 12. Plus that 3y equals -3. Okay. This is the critical step. Does everybody see what I did here? Okay? Instead of writing x, I wrote what x equals. Okay, I'll just do one more. I wrote what x equals. Now I just simplify. I have a one variable equation. I'm going to distribute my 2. I'll get 6y plus 24 plus 3y equals a -3. I'm going to combine my like terms. I have 2 y terms. I have a 6 and a 3. That becomes 9y plus 24 equals a -3. I want to get my y term by itself. So I'm going to subtract that 24, yeah. So I get 9y equals a -27. So finally, got to get y solo. Divide by 9. Y equals a -3. Cool. We're almost there. Now I just need to figure out my x's. So you plug y into either of the equations. You can plug it into this one. You can plug it into this one. You can even plug it into this one that we derived. Now, I strongly recommend plugging it into the derived equation because it's already solved for x. Yeah, Naya.
So for the test, do you want us to, since we're going to need this extra paper or whatever, do you want us to write anything on here, like the actual answer?
You can write the actual answer on there and then give me this piece. I'll give you the paper for it, but have this attached to it. Because this is really, the paper will tell me if you did it right, and then this will be the proof. Yeah. I will do my best to acquire some graph paper for you. I will not make a promise, though. I will do my best. Yeah.
Could we bring in our own?
Yes, absolutely. If you have your own, I have to look at it before the test, but yeah, if you have your own, that's okay. Okay, hey. Don't get antsy yet. We still got to find x. So we take this y. I'm going to plug it into here. I like this equation because it's simple. Okay? So I have x equals 3y plus 12. So I'm going to plug in a -3 for y. So x equals 3 times -3 plus 12. This is 9, -9 plus 12, which is, of course, is 3. So the point 3 comma -3. And sure enough, that's what we got. Whoopsie, forgot to put that in parentheses. We got that across the board, so we knew we did it well. Now here's what I want to really emphasize with you guys. Look at how much writing I did. I did a lot of writing. I showed every single step. I didn't shortcut. Okay, I've been doing this kind of math for 20 years.
So do you want us to write down every step we do?
I think it helps you be more successful when you write down your steps. You can find your errors. I'll say this, first period, people were coming up to me like, elimination is a match substitution, what's going on? And 99% of the time, actually I should just say it, 100% of the time, it was somebody adding a number incorrectly. It was somebody multiplying incorrectly. You know, I'd look to say, how is 2 times 3 -6? And they'll be like, oh, and then they'll fix it. So writing down your steps helps you. It absolutely helps you because you can see where you need to go back and change things. So I'm just going to cover these two. I think this is enough for you guys to chew off for the rest of the day. Tomorrow we'll pick this back up and start working on some of the other sections. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and if anybody wants a copy of this, just let me know. I will get it to you.